How does it feel to see people so excited about Tron again after all these years?
Oh, it's great, man. It's so exciting. Comic-Con, of course, wasn't around back when the first one came out, but to feel the energy of the people, you know, you can really sense it when we came here last year and showed the trailer, and well, actually, was it? Oh no, it was the year before that.
Yeah,
when we showed the effects test, and that was very responsible for getting the whole movie rolling. You know, getting it financed and everything. So the fans are just, you know, very integral to this whole thing, the Tron world.
How was it for you to finally get to come to Comic-Con, and was that the whole reason you actually did this film, so you could finally get to go here?
The entire reason I did this film was just to be here with you in this moment now. It's all come together, almost like it was planned. It's fantastic to be here. I was supposed to come for a few years, I think, with Underworld and with Alice in Wonderland and Twilight and stuff like that, and I wasn't able to. And also I wanted to build up a really big head of steam so that when I got here, I would be carried shoulder high through the streets, crowned the new king of Comic-Con. And as yet, that hasn't happened. So you have the chance to make this young man's dreams come true. But no, it's fantastic to be here, yeah.
How it felt to work on this, especially with your history with it?
Well, the idea of working with Jeff again, or finding out where these characters went after all these years, what happened to them, that's what intrigued me. And when I first read the script, I was just thrilled by it because I had no idea that Alan Bradley would become such a lost soul to me. And it was such a great take on these characters, and it seems so well, absolutely real. I was just thrilled by it, just thrilled. And I think you are going to be.
Yes, for those of you who had to wear the iconic suits, what was that like to get used to?
The iconic suits.
It was amazing. No, it was amazing.
It was amazing to watch Olivia in this. I can vouch for that.
It was totally revolutionary. You know, this has never been done before. We were wearing electroluminescent lamps woven through layers of neoprene and all these other amazing materials. And it was an honor to be able to wear something like that was changing the way that every other department was working on the film. You know, it would change the way the scene was lit, and opening us up to all these kind of interesting possibilities. And it was really beautiful. And we would get really excited every time the suits would turn on, because you look around and just kind of, gosh, this is really amazing. And they made this little sound, which the sound department loved.
And at the beginning, they got this sort of process that they do. Well, first, you got to train immensely for the suit, and they do this thing called cyber scan, where they basically create this suit out of every curve and sort of, you know, every sort of definition of your body, so it's just completely exact and fits like a glove. And then the greatest thing is you go into a dark room and, you know, one of the producers has their kids around, you light it up and they just go, ah. So I think that's the most satisfying bit.
There was a great moment before every take where you'd say, right, sound rolling and camera, and just before they'd say action, they go, and light them up, and action. And so in the scenes that I was in, there were a lot of people in the scenes, and so just before they said action, they go, and light them up, and suddenly the whole room would go, bing! And you'd forget to act for a little bit. Oh, that's so cool.
The key moments in getting this film made this time, I think, had to do first with Jeff, because when we came up with the idea that Jeff had been lost up the data stream all these years, like Colonel Kurtz in cyberspace, it was just too good, the thought of revisiting Jeff this way. And that had a lot to do with getting this film made. He had a lot to do with getting it made. And then the opportunity that was given, that was to Joe, by Sean pulling the whole team together. And Joe, he made the most out of it.
After talking about all this technology and perhaps the legacy that Tron will leave us as far as technology, what other legacy will this movie leave for this generation of fans, this new generation of fans? Is it another frontier in cyber post-production technology, or is it actually as simply something as the message in the movie?
The difference was when we made the first film, all we had to do was dream and about what the technology might do, but we didn't really get involved in what the technology would do. And as time went by, we've now reached the point where Sean and Joe and their generation has had to make this real. And technology is all about bringing people together, supposedly. And now there's a sense that technology may have a dark side where it keeps us from connecting with each other. And I think this film examines that problem.
I had a question kind of for the producers. You guys have been doing a really epic viral campaign so far that's dating back almost a year. Just wanted to have you guys kind of talk about how you put that together, and a little bit to Bruce too, because it's kind of like doing a bunch of live theater pieces with some of the stuff you guys have put together. And what else can we expect?
I think that one of the things when we all made the decision to do a kind of a standalone sequel that we would accept that the events in 1982 had narratively occurred, one of the things that with Eddie and Adam and Joe, we all, and my fellow producers here, we all did was we mapped the mythology from 82 to 2010. And that gave us, I think, number one, hopefully a really good foundation for the story we wanted to tell in 2010, but also gave us all those intervening years. And so there was a lot of history and backstory that we thought there were interesting ways to express. And so some of that is coming across in the ARG and the viral. Some of that is going to come across on other platforms, with the video game and some of the publishing efforts. And it has been really, really fun.
This question is for Joe. I'm really excited about Daft Punk doing the score. Can you just talk about how you collaborated with them to make the music?
Yeah, you know, I hooked up with Daft Punk very early in the process, before even doing the VFX test piece. Sean and I went down to the 101 Cafe in Hollywood and met them for a pancake breakfast, and discussed their passion for Tron and how serious they took it, and what an inspiration it was to them, which I think is pretty obvious if you've been in any of their live shows. So we talked about it for a long time, and then got started on the music very early. I mean, we were doing music before we even started shooting, and we're continued working on it for almost 2 years now. They're in the studio as we speak, putting the finishing touches on their score, and it's you know, it's a really incredible blend of electronic music, orchestral music, and really blurs the line between sound design and music in a really interesting way. It's a new direction for them that they're really excited about, and it's so tied to the film because we've developed them together. It's really just an amazing kind of fusion of music and picture that I'm really happy about.
And didn't they base their look on Tron?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It was also amazing when we were shooting. They were integral to the process of shooting, because sometimes if you really needed to find the tone of a scene, we would listen to a Daft track, and you'd really understand where you were in the movie. And I found that really helpful and really inspiring, so we were lucky to have that.
Filmmakers are always looking for something to bring the audience deeper into the reality of the story you're telling. You know, there was a film process called show scan that Douglas Trumbull developed that never really got, they didn't really take off. But that was just running the film 60 frames instead of 24 frames and projecting it that way. And it made everything, sharp and more, real, almost a 3D effect. So I guess, isn't 3D without glasses coming up, in the next 10, 20, next 10, and then holograms. I mean, I guess that's where it's going. I don't know, imagine. Or maybe you just take a pill.
For me, I come from a design background. I feel like that's one reason why the film, you can still sit down and watch it today, even though the computer graphics are simple compared to what we're able to do now. The design work is so strong and the imagination is so vivid and vibrant. It transcends kind of time. So it was quite a task, you know, to sit down and start to look at, you know, what group of designers I could assemble that I felt were going to kind of be the next generation of those amazing designers. And it was I had a great time assembling people from the automotive industry, the world of architecture, people outside the film world to all come in and collaborate on this project. And there was such a great foundation there for us to build on. It was a lot of fun kind of evolving those designs and making it feel more photorealistic, more visceral. I wanted the movie to feel like we had been pulled into the computer and we shot it with motion picture cameras on the inside. As far as 3D goes, you know, this film just seems perfectly suited to it. We use the new generation of the fusion camera system developed by James Cameron. We used a newer generation camera than Cameron used on Avatar, the Sony F-35, and it just creates such a beautiful image. I'm really happy with you know, the decision to go 3D because it is a lot more work. It does cost more, especially when you do it the way we're doing, a true 3D movie shot with 2 cameras. All the visual effects are finished for both eyes. It's a really tedious process, but I think it pays off in the end.
I love that.